Yeah! Welcome to Three Conservative Gimps, where we bring you our opinion and ideas from a conservative point of view. So, we got a great show for you today. Last week, we had former Congressman Thaddeus McCotter on. What a treat. We've got another great guest this week. We will be bringing her up shortly, but first, let's bring my co host all the way from Muskogee, Oklahoma. Let's welcome Lloyd Mendenhall. Welcome, sir.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Art. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good. I am too for a change.
Good.
I got a full night's sleep
Oh, that's wonderful.
and a nap today. So,
Oh, good. I'm feeling almost back to myself after getting a root canal this week and a temporary crown yesterday.
yeah, I saw you talking about that on your show last night. Yeah,
So,
all my teeth have had crowns on them, except for
Oh,
one
boy.
back here,
oh boy.
and I think 3/4 of them have had root canals on them. So,
Oh boy, wonderful.
yeah.
Let's welcome all the way from the great state of New York. Let's welcome. He's always in charge. It's Charles. Welcome,
Hey, everybody.
Charles.
Hey, Art. Hey, Lloyd.
Hey, Charles, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Can't complain. Nobody listens anyway. So,
All right, so
Yeah.
let's get this show going. Let's welcome our guest. She is known as the Mama Glock, I believe, or it's Glock Mama. What she'll tell us what it is, but she also Mama Glock. Okay, she's also has her own show on KLZ Radio here in Denver. Let's welcome the effervescent Karen Murray. Welcome. No sound, Karen. We can't hear you.
Karen, you've muted yourself.
No sound. Go get Cole. Tell him to fix it.
but it's an interesting conversation, I'm sure.
Yes. Go down to settings and pick your audio signal.
Hey, it happens to all of us.
No.
Nope,
No.
no sound yet.
Is your mic plugged in?
I agree 100%. Yep. I agree 100%.
That little gear thing, click on that, and it'll bring up the audio. Go up to audio, and you'll scroll down. Click on audio right up. Welcome to Three Conservative Gimps and Computer Tutorials.
Yes.
Tech support.
Tech support.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Although we don't sound like our normal tech support, do we?
No.
No, I think we're a lot smarter.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's still not working, so obviously we're not.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I don't think turning off the light helps.
Did you guys hear about the plane crash today?
Yes, I did hear about that a little while ago.
Yeah, up in was it Virginia?
Yeah.
Yeah, they scrambled fighter jets because it was flying right across Washington airspace. And they scrambled them. They hit, there was a sonic boom which scared everybody, of course, in Washington. They all went back crazy. And they got up there, and the pilot didn't respond. And then all of a sudden, it did a, was it 28,000 feet per minute dive straight into the ground.
Wow.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. And they're trying to get to it now to see what the problem was. They think it might have been a decompression situation, or what else.
Oh, wow. Okay,
So
hello, Karen. Yeah.
I'd heard about that. It was kind of strange, Somebody was one of my friends on Facebook was talking about it and about how they were thinking there was something wrong with the pilot. When I said, if he was low on fuel or if he was in distress, there's a huge number of airports, and somebody in some control tower somewhere could have let him do an emergency landing.
yeah, well, I think what they're thinking possibly is that it was we have sound.
There we go, Karen.
We have sound.
Yes.
Hey there. Sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties.
Happens to us all the time.
Thank you, honey. Yeah, we're good. Thank you.
Oh,
Okay.
you're
Hi there, guys.
Hello.
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 Karen and I have known each other for many years. I think we discovered 37 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I was doing the math a couple of days ago, and yeah, it's been a very long time. Makes me feel old, Art. I'm old. But that's okay. So, we can still kick some butt.
Yes. So our illustrious president was just here in Colorado, down at the Airforce Academy, and took a spill, and it looked like a nasty fall.
It did. Yeah.
I bet Harris was probably going, oh, got up.
Yeah. She missed
it by that much.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's something else, and he's even. I can't with that guy anymore. I just, when I look at him, and pardon me if I've interrupted somebody, but if when I look at that guy, I can't even fathom another 4 years. I can't even fathom. I just can't. He's old and decrepit and doesn't know where he is half the time. And how can anybody take him seriously?
Right.
I don't get it.
And there is a reason why we haven't been attacked yet. They're just watching us fall apart from within.
Yeah.
I mean, look at our cities. Our Democrat-run cities are turning into a big dumpster fire. And and then Chicago decided, hey, we're going to try with another knucklehead liberal. Yeah.
It seems like it's worse than the one before.
Right.
Just like they did in New York City.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, now the mayor of New York City is shipping all the migrants that we shipped up there. He's shipping them to the red counties in New York.
Yeah, it's funny to me that they want to be sanctuary cities, but they don't quite understand the sanctuary part.
Yeah.
They don't want to be involved in the sanctuary part. Just the name. They want the title because it's virtue signaling and it's PC. But
I think they're mad because it's the red state sending them there. They'd rather them that they come on their own.
Yeah.
And then that's okay.
Yeah, I'm not even sure, Art, if that would be okay. I really think that some of these, the Lightfoots and the Adamses and the Hochul, whatever. I know she's a governor, but and what's the broad from Michigan?
Whitmer.
Whitmer.
Yeah.
I think that they just want the title. They want to be labeled as such, but when it comes time to do anything for these people, they don't want anything to do with it.
Right.
I think it's all just word salad and verbal vomit. They have no desire to help those people or whatever. And they understand as well as we do that the analogy that I use all the time is the bowl of Skittles or the bowl of M&Ms. If you have a bowl of M&Ms sitting in a table and there's 100,000 M&Ms in there, and you know that 100 of them are poison and will kill you, are you going to take a big handful of those M&Ms and eat them? Of course you're not.
Right. Exactly.
Good point. Good point. So
It's
Yeah.
a sad situation to see what our country's come to, and being former military and knowing what the problem is the younger generation doesn't remember. I was thinking about this today. I was talking to my wife about, well, China backed the North Koreans and supplied them with stuff, and then in Vietnam, they supply the Chinese and the Soviet Union supplied the North Vietnamese and the Viet Cong, who fought against us and killed Americans. None of the younger generations have been around long enough to remember what it was like during the Vietnam War, and to remember that these countries that were now, some of them were trying to befriend, uh, were our enemies, and their ideology has not changed. We have, and that's sad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm wondering if if it's even a matter of that they don't remember, but they're not even being taught that.
Well, that's it,
That's
because
a big part of it. Yeah, for sure.
right, they're my grandson, who turns 23 this week, he comes to me for history because he was never taught it in school, and
Yeah.
it's like I said, well, like you said, they're not being taught this stuff because the ones who were left in charge of education were the same ones that were protesting the Vietnam War and said it was bad and all of this stuff. And it was a useless war. But the point was, is we were in it and we needed to stand behind the people that were sent there, and we didn't,
Right.
and eventually we bowed down and pulled out, and uh, and on top of that, it was the Democrats under Lyndon Johnson that escalated the Vietnam War to begin with. The Democrats have done more to cause wars and to fight and to be part of wars than
Mhm.
the conservatives and the Republicans have ever done.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I mean, look
Absolutely.
at what's going on in Ukraine. We're helping the Ukrainians. I mean, not that we shouldn't. I mean, they were invaded,
People, though, the people.
yeah,
Zelensky
yeah,
has, I'm sorry, but that guy does not deserve nor warrant a help from the United States in the dollar figures that we've given that guy.
right.
No way.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And I've got a whole other opinion on Ukraine, I and the whole Russia situation, because my tinfoil hat is big and thick and fancy. And
yep,
and I don't think that that Putin is the deplorable monster that the left wants you to believe he is.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And what's sad is that the conservatives seem to be jumping right on that same bandwagon with them. Anti-Putin, pro-Zelensky. And my opinion is the reason they're allowing this to happen so they can cover up any business dealings that were done by the current administration and his family. Let's get rid of those files over
Absolutely.
there. We don't have to worry about it. There's
Yeah.
my tinfoil hat.
Yep. I don't think it requires a very thick tinfoil hat these days. It's, some of this stuff is so in your face and so obvious that if you can't see it, then you're just not looking hard enough.
Yeah, and that's sad.
So we just had a vote on the debt limit ceiling. Did that pass the Senate?
I've heard it
Yes.
has,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it did. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Because
I think it
there were
passed.
quite a few Republicans that voted against it, and a few Democrats. Even Fetterman voted against.
But some very prominent Republicans voted for it, which is so disheartening to me.
Mm.
But it's not surprising, I guess. But our very
Right.
own Ken Buck here in Colorado did not vote for it, so
Right,
that's
right. Or Lauren
obviously
Boebert.
Lauren Boebert, and our beloved Matt Gaetz, not our beloved, but you know who I'm talking about. He didn't vote for it either. So, yeah, I don't know.
Bobert just abstained.
Yeah. I don't know what was so wrong with the debt ceiling deal that they came out with in April, the $1.42 trillion one. I'm not sure what was wrong with that one, other than there wasn't a bunch of pork in it. I'm doing my show tomorrow on pork. Some of it is going to be about the pork spending on in our government and some of the ridiculous programs that are being funded by our taxpayer dollars, and it's pretty mind numbing.
Well,
Although in this latest deal, they did pull the what is it, the student loan forgiveness. They pulled that, and they were able to cut the funding for the extra IRS agent. They cut that, and there was some other things that they cut from it. So I don't know.
But
Yeah.
isn't it kind of open ended though? Haven't they said something about it being pretty open ended? It's kind of like a blank check for the next 10 years or something.
Yeah.
at least the next 5 years, they're not going to discuss the debt ceiling.
Yeah.
And in terms of the IRS stuff, I only thought they were able to cut it back by about 2%.
Yeah, they didn't
out
cut
of
as much
those
back.
87,000 people. There's like what 1,600 or 2,000 of them not going to be hired on, something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna. There was something about it was also they cut some stuff pertaining to the military and what the military needed. And that's the problem. Like with the Ukraine thing, we're sending all that all that equipment and ammunition and stuff over there, and we don't have enough to defend ourselves. That's what it comes down to. If we got into a full knockdown drag out, all of our stuff has been used and sent over there, and well, we could probably go buy it back off the black market over there, but
between that and the stuff that went to that got left behind in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of Afghanistan, they're in a little skirmish with the Iranians over water rights because there is a fairly sizable river that runs through Afghanistan. There's a few reservoirs that are providing hydroelectric, and the Iranians are squawking, "We need water." So there's been some border skirmishes where some of those, remember those artillery pieces that we left there? Mm-hmm. Yeah, guess where they're going. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a shocker. Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable what kind of mess that we're in right now as a country. It's frightening to me.
Definitely, yeah. And I make this jokingly all the time that they've legalized marijuana in so many places, but yet the hatred. I figured everybody would be stoned and happy, but no, they're angrier now than they were before they started smoking the pot. It's like
it's funny that you mentioned pot. I was just reading a story on Zero Hedge today about the feds. I guess Minnesota was the latest state to legalize marijuana, and the feds are saying if you smoke dope at all, you cannot have a firearm.
Yes, I saw that. Mm-hmm.
And that's
I know
the way
in Colorado,
it should be.
You can't have a medical marijuana card and get a gun. But they don't really, it's not really clarified in terms of, recreational use or whatever. So, yeah.
And Mickey McKay,
and that's the way it's always been.
Some of our equipment sent to Ukraine is showing up in Africa, Asia, South America, and Central America.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Also, I wanted to send out my condolences to Randy Corcoran. His wife, Hannah, passed away yesterday. today was her birthday.
Yeah.
And
I saw that this morning. I
she
was very sad.
yeah.
I was friends with both of them on Facebook and very sad to hear
and-
that.
mhm. Yeah, I've known Randy since '09 when I got into politics. I really got into Colorado politics, and Karen was at one of my what was that? That was it was the county assembly, I believe. She helped out set up my table for
Mhm.
my campaign.
My daughter was there too.
Yes, and now she's uh all grown up and in college right
Yeah.
now. And what is she studying?
She's not in college. She graduated last year in May, and she's now a mom baby nurse at Skyridge Medical Center.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So
the-
I don't, I live in Oklahoma, so I don't get to hear your show. So I take it you are pro Second Amendment, of course.
Very much so. And you can listen online, by the way. All you got to do is go to klzradio.com.
mhm.
I will do that. I will do that. What time is your show on in Colorado time?
It's tomorrow, 2 to 3. That's the live show is 2 to 3 p.m. on Monday. And then it replays several times throughout the week.
I will try to catch that tomorrow.
So you're just on Monday night, or are you on all week?
Monday afternoon, and then it replays again on Tuesday morning from 5 to 6 a.m. This is all Mountain Time, obviously. It replays Thursday night from 8 to 9 p.m., Saturday afternoon from 2 to 3 p.m., and Sunday night from 8 to 9 p.m.
Now you're going up against Mandy Connell, KOA.
Yeah, we're in a different time slot, though. I mean, I guess the final hour, because she's on till 3, right?
Right.
Yeah, 12 to 3. So yeah, that's a tough one there for that her final hour.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we won't even discuss the whole Mandy Connell situation. But yes, to answer Lloyd's question, yes, I am very obviously pro 2A, as I'm a firearms instructor, and yeah, it's kind of amazing to me. I did a post a few days ago about my classes and how they're not as full as they used to be. The summer of 2020, when all the riots were happening and stuff, my classes were packed to the gills every single weekend, and I think it was a very visceral sort of feeling that people had that I must protect myself. I have to, I might have an angry mob of Antifa, thugs come marching through my neighborhood or whatever. So I was busy. I was very busy, and the store was very busy. And I think, in my opinion, I discussed this last week on my show. I think that things now they're just as bad, if not worse, except the threat isn't coming from Antifa and BLM and those types of groups. Our threat is coming from Washington, D.C. and everybody that's associated with them and government. And Pontius Polis here in Colorado, that they just keep throwing these new gun laws down, and they just keep getting signed. And Rocky Mountain Gun Owners is working day and night and has multiple lawsuits, through trying to get some of these gun laws just thrown out, or the bills, I should say, and they just keep on coming. And when I do teach my classes, I tell people, because we've partnered with USCCA, and I don't know if you know who those people are, but
I do. Yeah.
They come in and do a presentation at the end of my classes every week. And I tell people, you people live in Colorado. And so that alone, as a gun owner, is a problem for you. If you happen to, God forbid, get into an altercation with somebody and you have to use your gun to defend yourself, you are being thrown to the wolves, because, the juries, the lawyers, the whatever, the judges, they're all it's going to be tough to find an impartial bunch of people to help you. And not to mention that, a great criminal defense lawyer is going to charge you 50 grand just to show up and say hi.
Mhm.
So people need that kind of coverage and that kind of protection. But yeah, it's pretty wild right now. I keep touting over and over again the importance of the first couple of paragraphs of the Declaration of Independence, because everybody seems to have forgotten what it says. And if you want to talk about a long train of abuses, I think we've suffered that. I think our government is just about as despotic as you can possibly get.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, the threats coming from within. It's threats both foreign and domestic. Domestic being the key word there. So
Yeah.
Right.
merely
Yeah.
my opinion, not
Yeah.
necessarily
And
the opinion of Art or
Mhm.
the three conservative gimps. Seriously.
yeah, no, and I would agree with you. Of course, every time I hear stuff of what's going on in Colorado, of course, I grew up in Colorado, and I lived in Denver until I was 15, then moved to Grand Junction. Well, just before I was 15, moved to Grand Junction and graduated, got married, and went in the military from Grand Junction. But then I lived in Arizona, and then my folks moved here to Oklahoma. And after, after a unsuccessful second marriage, I moved here to Oklahoma, and this is where my parents lived. And well, when I moved here, I thought these people are a bunch of hillbillies and hicks and backwoods, and I thought, oh, you talk about culture shock. I mean, we couldn't even go into a bar and order a drink, and without bringing your own liquor. You could buy a beer 3.2, but you had to bring your own bottle of booze. So it's like so.
Mhm.
Anyways, now I've been here 43 years now, and I am so thankful that I moved to Oklahoma because one, we're a red state. Two, I've had my concealed carry now going on 8 years, I think. It's due. I think I have to renew it here in another year or two. Uh, and we're now constitutional carry. I still have my concealed carry license because I want to be able to go to other states and carry it too. And so we have to have the reciprocatory or whatever that word is. I always stumble over it, but
Reciprocity.
yeah, whatever it is. Yeah, that. Yeah, where the other states recognize my right to carry a gun. As long as I'm licensed. And every time I hear about everything that's happened in Colorado, I'm just so thankful that I now live in Oklahoma because you know, and matter of fact, they're talking about possibly doing away with our state income tax now, and that's going to be on the next legislative session, or it might even be a special session. And boy, that's going to put Oklahoma right up there
Yeah.
uh, with a lot of the good states, and it'll make it more people want to come to Oklahoma if they don't mind humidity. But other than that, it's a good
And
state to live in.
tornadoes.
Yeah, well, the first 5 years I lived here, tornadoes scared me to death. Now it's like I just got a warning here a few minutes ago, or a watch a few minutes ago. We got some inclement weather coming. It's like, nothing on the ground yet, so I don't worry about it.
Well, now when I got fully into politics in '09, I kind of had a front seat of watching Colorado kind of
Go to hell in a
spiral
handbasket.
down the
Okay, Art, you can say it.
spiral down the drain into a blue state. And part of what there are two things, and there's probably other things that cause it. Number one, demographics have changed because Colorado it had a really good economy, and we had a split legislature, so nothing got crazy out of the session. So people started moving here. A lot of young people, mostly from blue states where their economies weren't all that good, and they start voting the same way they did back at their home state. And also, we had a rift in the Republican Party where you had two factions, and every time we had a primary, they just beat the crap out of each other, and the winner ends up losing to a Democrat because the Democrat uses all the ammunition that they got from the guy that they just beat in the primary. So, and it just
Blueprint.
was frustrating. Oh, and then throw a libertarian or two to peel off enough votes to hand the Democrats the seat, and I'm like, I don't understand libertarians. They're all about freedom and liberty, but they want 100%. They don't want 80%. And so
Hey,
they
Art, can I tell you
yes,
what I think about the whole party system?
sure, go
I
ahead.
think that it has completely annihilated all chances of good candidates, wholesome, upstanding candidates from getting elected to shit anymore. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I think.
Yep.
I think that if we were to remove, obviously we have a two-party system, what I call a uniparty. If we were to remove the R and the D and the L and the G and the, C and the whatever else letters we can throw behind a candidate's name, take that crap off of there and just let the candidates, and no more, GOP PACs and the all the crap, the money funneling and the corporations donating to all the candidates. No, personal donations not to exceed more than X dollars, whatever, and forget the party system. And you literally have to, in order to cast your vote, you have to go to their website and look at their platform. And I understand that people are going to lie. People are going to say, I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. You have to vote for me. And they're going to lie. And then they're going to get into office. But, you can read between the lines. So if you have, let's say, somebody who wants to run on green and the Green New Deal and green energy and more wind farms and more this and more that, you just look for words like sustainable or stuff like that. You can read between the lines, and it's not that hard. People who
Or
don't
equity.
look into any of this stuff shouldn't vote.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and that's been
So,
my argument all along. We've discussed it many times. Is we're allowing with our two-party system. We as conservative Republicans, which I am currently a Republican, uh, we tend to beat each other up, and we've already lost the race. I mean, it happens over and over and over, and we have not figured out. You cannot. I think that, well, let's say DeSantis and Trump right now, they need to be talking about what they have the ability to do and what they're going to do for the country, not gripe about what, you know, Uncle Don or any of the others are going to, well, Donald Trump's too old and too this and too that. DeSantis is too close to the center, blah, blah. Quit using that. Tell us what you're going to do and do it. And then the Democrats will have to come out and say what they're going to do and show that how they would do it. And this is our problem. We spend more time. I think the primary system is a joke. I think it needs to be, it's run by the media, and they choose who. I mean, look, Mitt Romney, really? That was a joke, and it was picked by the media, not by us.
Well, look
And
at Walker Stapleton here in Colorado, hello,
yeah,
prime example there.
yep.
but
Well,
we
I
got
mean,
to
he
quit
was
beating each other
treasurer,
up.
and he won a statewide election twice, and he had the name recognition. He well liked, very knowledgeable about economic stuff, and he just got outspent 5-1 by Emperor Polis, who's bought every seat that he's ran for. I mean, he's just a rich dude who made his fortune in the .com sector. And then when he went to, then he started off, he got on the Colorado School Board, bought that seat. Then he, I think, was he? I think he was a state rep out of Boulder for a bit, and then when what's his name from second district? Oh, Udall. He decided to run for Senate, and Polis ran for that seat because that's a solid Democrat seat. He was able to outspend all the other Democrats. Bought that seat, goes to Washington, takes his small fortune, and starts voting on uh, he was on the insurance committee. He was really big on health care. And whenever they passed a bill that helped out that insurance company, guess what? He goes around, starts buying up some of the stock in that company, and it goes up because they won the project. So that's how he was able to take $30 million and turn it into over $300 million.
That's
And then he
sickening.
bought the governor's.
Yeah. Yep, and resisted the recall. Although once again, you guys were just talking about how unified the Democrats are. The Democrats stick together like glue, and they always have. They know how to deliver their message, and they deliver it with power and might and force. And the Republicans end up just kind of running around scrambling, like always in a reactionary kind of mindset. And that recall was no different. They had their machine to battle and combat against the recall. Meanwhile, we've got two factions of the recall that were fighting with each other. It's like, oh my God. It was crazy.
Barkley said, the problem is, we tend to, I'm actually going to say two things about we need to stop looking in the rearview mirror and start looking out front. The problem is we do need to look in the rearview mirror and see, wait a minute, that didn't work the last 10 times we've tried it. Maybe we should look forward to try something new. It's like the Trump thing, okay, all right. So it wasn't to our liking. Who cares? Now we've got other elections to worry about. Quit looking back and start, and as conservatives and Republicans, we need to quit, like you said, quit fighting. You got all these factions, and it's just got to, it. But I don't know. I don't know why we're like that. I haven't figured that part out yet.
We're too nice. And that's in my opinion. Most conservatives are Christians. They're there's a bunch of people that I listen to that refer to the really squishy Christian conservatives as pew marshmallows. And they don't want to fight. They don't want to name call. They don't want to dig it. They don't want to get in the mud with anything that has to do with fighting and making people look bad or hurting people's feelings, or they just want to stay out of it. And, that's just how it is. That's just how it is. I think most of the Democrats that are in charge these days, in my opinion, are demons from hell. That's kind of what, that's the way that I sort of view them, because I think they're all rotten to the core. And I think that just Christians as a whole, Christian conservatives don't know how to fight. They don't know how to get in the mud and get dirty and fight dirty.
Yeah, I've said this. I've said it several times with other guests. The problem is, I always talk about, you turn the other cheek, but I remind them that Jesus went into the temple and started throwing tables around. I figure
he was a table flipper for sure. I just said that last week. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, God
if it's
does
good
not
enough for him. It should be good enough for us.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, Karen, do you know what CD you're in?
Do I know what?
What congressional district?
4th.
Okay, so you're in Ken Buck district.
Yes.
Good. Thank God you're not in the 6th district.
Who's that?
Crow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's the guy that beat Kaufman, who's now the mayor of Aurora.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I have to go through the intersection at Parker Road and I-225 every Monday to go to the studio. And it's they've cleaned it up the last couple of times that I've gone down there. It's been kind of cleaned up, but man, was it bad for a while. It was a literal homeless encampment. You know, the whole Cherry Creek State Park is right there to the
Right.
west, and the whole entire eastern fence of Cherry Creek State Park was solid tents, tarps, trash.
Yep.
The intersection, just trash, homeless signs underneath the bridge on both sides, trash, tents, tarps, clothes, socks, shoes everywhere, just every single corner. It was unbelievable. And I complained about it a lot on the air, and they got it cleaned up, but I'm sure it'll trickle back in just like it always does.
Well, in North Denver on the Platte River, there's a big homeless encampment there. It's horrible up there. And I'm so
That's
glad
just one
I
of the
don't
worst.
work in Denver anymore. I work out in Louisville, and I may see a couple panhandlers, out on US 36, panhandling for money.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, I see it even down here in Douglas County. It's everywhere.
yeah. Well, I
just
am in CD7, which is Brittany Pedersen.
Tell
Who
us how
took
you really
over.
feel, Art.
Odlin should have won that, but just the demographics. It's leans Democrat. It's not solidly blue, uh, but we may have a chance in CD8 because that is a very thin margin for the Democrats because whoever that gal that won there that beat Kirkmeyer just barely beat her in that race. So maybe next time we'll be able to win that seat, but I don't know.
Art, explain El Paso County and explain Colorado Springs' new mayor.
Oh yes, he's not even he's not a Democrat, but he really is basically because when you run for a municipal seat, you're not affiliated with a party, but yeah, it's first time in 40 years that a other than Republican is running, and
Now, El Paso
sadly,
County has
I think
been
El Paso
really,
County is starting to change.
yeah, we can't have
Yep,
that. Okay,
yep,
that can't happen. Oh goodness.
yep. And hopefully Lauren Boebert could hold on and keep that seat because she barely beat that city councilman from Aspen.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a strong election denier. We'll just say that. I have zero confidence that the 2020 or the 2022 elections were on the up and up. So you can sit here all day and talk about different districts and redistricting and demographics and everything else, and it's all, to me, it's all BS. They've got their system in place. They're going to do whatever they want to do and whatever they feel that they have to do to maintain power, to move forward with their agenda. That's it, with their evil plans. Call me crazy, big, thick tinfoil hat, like I said, but that's just how I feel. I have no faith in our election system anymore at all. Everybody talks about, well, we just got to get back out and vote on 2024. Rah, 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 get out, Trump, 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 and whatever. None of it matters. They never fixed 2020. I haven't seen any indication or evidence that they fixed anything having to do with the election system. So why would we be all cheer, rah, rah for 2024 when it's got every possibility of being just as rigged as the past two and probably the ones before that?
Yeah.
Well, like Lloyd always says, we need to start playing the same game the
Exactly.
Democrats do. We need
Aren't
to
I just a
start
freaking
doing
ray of sunshine?
ballot
Aren't you glad you had me
harvesting.
on?
Oh, it's like this every week with us because I mean I'm the grumpy vlogger. That the grumpy part. I got that name for my grandkids gave me the name Grumpy Grandpa, and when I started this silly YouTube crap, I thought, well, I'm going to be vlogging, which I did for about 2 years until I ran out of stuff to gripe about, you know.
Oh, I
And
never run out of stuff to gripe about.
well, I was repeating because I got to the point that I was talking about the same stuff because I was doing it at one point 7 days a week. I was putting up a
Oh,
video,
yeah.
and it's like, you can only, but yeah, your opinions are very much like mine, and I keep saying we've got to start doing something different because here in
Well,
Oklahoma we're kind of protected.
everybody needs to go and read the first two paragraphs of the Declaration of Independence.
Mhm.
Everybody has to read that and over and over and over and over again. I mean, I don't have it memorized, but I do know that when a long train of abuses, that whole part, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and provide new guards for their future security.
Mhm.
Yes,
And
yeah,
I don't think that there's been a time in history other than Revolutionary War and the Boston Tea Party and all that stuff back then. This is the time. We can all see it. We can all feel it.
Mhm.
This is the time. We can't take much more of this. We can't be any more divided than we are. I mean, I've been talking on the show on KLZ. I've been talking about Pride Month, and how unbelievably sickening that is. And I mean, I'm sorry. It's one of those things where they have a month, but they don't just have a month. They literally have a holiday every month for the entire year. They have this
Mhm.
awareness day and trans awareness day and blood testing day and blood donation day and gay uncles day and coming out day and it just goes on and on and on. So I'm talking about all these things that we have going on. I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. But talk about division and with the kids and the way it relates to with me with guns and the expansion of our extreme risk protection orders here in Colorado and how that relates to the whole trans thing. And if you have a kid that says, oh, maybe I'm a girl, mom jumps on it. Yeah, son, I think you are a girl. Let's go get you some puberty blockers, and we're going to start transition on you. And if the dad says, oh, you're not doing that, no way. Well, dad's crazy. Dad needs to be locked up. Dad needs to have his guns taken away. And now educators are able to make that call. They're able to petition for that extreme risk protection order.
What?
Yeah.
I have a 16-year-old autistic grandson, and I don't know when I went to pick him up from school. I don't pick him up all the time, but occasionally I have to go pick him up. And he started talking to me. He says, and I don't know how I may have had Fox News on or something. He heard it, but he says, I don't understand it. He says, I can't say this in school, but I don't understand what the confusion is. I know what a boy is. I know what a girl is. He says, why do we have to hear about it? Why do they have to make that? He says, I wouldn't make that decision at my age. As I said, he's autistic, so his his intelligent level is way up there, but his maturity, his social level is probably about 12 or 13. So he's at that. But he says, I can tell the difference. Why can't these other people tell the difference between a boy and a girl? And and he says, why do they change pronouns? He says, it's hard enough to learn English, let alone them just keep changing it. He says, that's silly. He says, a boy's a boy, a girl's a girl. He said, but I can't say that at school, Grandpa. And I said, well, you can always say it in my, and
yeah, you'll get suspended. Have you guys seen the Daily Caller or the Daily Wire video from Matt Walsh called "What Is a Woman"?
I've seen bits of it, not the whole thing.
Yeah, I haven't seen the whole thing either. I've been going to watch it.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
The last part of it, the last couple of minutes were the best when he goes into his wife and asks him, honey, what is a woman? And she's like an adult human female who needs help opening this. And she handed him a jar of pickles. It was perfect ending. Yeah, it's pretty eye-opening that what you can't say these days. It's just sickening. And, they always say that some people or some things are better left unsaid. And those are the kinds of things that I usually blurt right out, because that's just how I am. Ask Art. I got a big mouth.
I remember back in my day when midgets came out of the cupboard.
There's that comedic side to Art. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, Art's my co-host on my show on Monday nights, and that's one of the things that I love about him. He doesn't fall for all that PC stuff, and he's the only little person I would call a midget, because he calls me a lot of things too, but that's.
I was a member of Little People of America, the local chapter, and they had this thing, you can't say midget. I'm like going, why? It's just a word. Doesn't hurt me. I mean, if you're that sensitive about it, well, that's your
everybody's
problem.
too damn sensitive, if you ask me.
Yeah, Art, by the way, have they changed the name of those little short Tootsie Rolls that you get in a bag, the little ones? Are they still called midgets?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe
or are they called little Tootsie? I'm going to have to check out a bag just to see, because I'll bet they've taken the name Tootsie Roll midgets and changed it to Tootsie Roll snack size or some crap like that.
Yeah,
snack size. Right.
Yeah.
Now I was just in the Philippines. And talk about a different world. When I got there, and I was at, if you follow my show on Saturday, a good friend of mine, James Tanner, who lives in the Philippines, I stayed at their place for a couple of days. And as soon as I got there, I just felt all the stress just flowing away from me, because I'm not hearing all this garbage of but they don't have that crap there.
Yeah.
I mean, they got gay people and lady boys, but it's not a big deal there. It is a predominantly Roman Catholic country, but they're starting to come around and they accept gay folks, but the gays there are not making a big to do like the gays here.
Well, I always say that the trans community, the trans mafia, I'll call them that. And so I'm not referring to the normal people who just, they're the truly gender dysphoric people that are in another body, whatever. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the ones that are militant about it, and they are in your face, and they are, you will accept me, you will embrace my lifestyle or else kind of thing. Those are the kinds of people I'm talking about. Those are just like back after 9/11, which 9/11 is a whole other subject with the big tinfoil hat. But anyway, when you're talking about the conspiracies and stuff, but when the way that I used to view Muslims, and I would say there are two types of Muslims. There's the ones that want to kill me, and there are the ones who want me dead, but don't want to do it themselves. And that's pretty much the end of the list. And I think the trans mafia is the same way. They would love nothing more than to see me dead, because I won't accept their way of life and their, their mental illness, delusions, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, Karen's a radical.
Yeah, I think all three of us on here are. Here's the thing. How many of the trans people are there in the Muslim community? But see, we can, and this is where I don't strange bedfellows, I guess. You got the radical Muslims who, you got all Islam does not support that, period. They do not support the gay community or homosexuality. And yet, we can't talk about the Muslims. We can't talk about the trans people. Who else can't we talk about? Well, we can't talk about just about anybody nowadays.
No.
And
you can talk about white, straight men. That's it.
Yeah, and where is my friggin' month? Or even my day?
You
straight
don't
old
have
fat
to.
white guys.
You don't even
I
have
feel.
Father's Day. They don't even want you to have that.
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
waiting for White Midget Day.
Yeah. Pretty crazy.
You might have a
And it's
song, Art. I
predominantly
thought
the
there was.
United States.
Yeah.
Sorry,
The West is
you
the
might have a
problem.
song, Art, because I thought there was. I thought there was a Weird Al Yankovic about white midgets, or at least there was a line in a song. I'll have to look at that later on. I'll have to try and find that out. If I do, I'll get a link and send it to you.
I love it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know
this
if you
group-
guys have seen Brad Williams. He's a
I have.
dwarf little person like me, and he's always talking about how people when they see a little person they go, oh, they just oh how cute. When they see me they go, he's a little person, but he's not fucked up. He's got, he's got funny fingers, but he doesn't have a big melon like that Brad Williams got. How the
Brad
hell
Williams
does
is
he
hilarious.
walk around with that big head?
Oh my God! Yeah, yeah. Brad Williams is hilarious, and he doesn't take his disability or his difference. He doesn't take his difference as a handicap.
Mm-hmm.
And because Art, this show will probably get pulled.
Right.
We had a couple.
Well, it's the same way with
You gotta
Josh
know better
Blue.
than to have me on your show, Art.
Yeah, I'd have you on my
Josh Blue
show.
has cerebral palsy, and it didn't slow him down. He's really flipping funny. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, guys,
I
we've
thought
done a little
it
over
is
an
time, isn't it?
hour, and I want to thank everybody in the chat for coming to the show. Karen, I want to thank you for coming on and being part of the panel.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll
thanks
bring
for
you back
inviting
more
me.
often.
Absolutely.
So,
Anytime.
all right. So, everybody, Lloyd, what are your thoughts to wrap it up?
Well, it's like I say, be kind, treat each other better than you treat yourselves. And remember, everybody matters, even straight old fat white guys like us.
Charles?
Oh, well, what I would have to say sort of veers away from what we've been talking about. I would just want to say that it's always a good day to have a good day.
I like it.
Yep. All right, everybody. Have a great week, and we'll catch you next time.
Au
Bye-bye.
reservoir, folks.
Have a
Later,
great
guys.
week.